Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending upon wherever it is you may be. Thank you, Trevor, for the introduction and for the presentation. And I just want to take this time to thank you, Trevor, for all the work that you do on RSI Day every year, and all the work that you have done this year as well as all the work that you've done on those products and those apps. A lot of the work that is done doesn't get seen by others. Everybody sees the end result, but I would just like to personally thank you for everything you've done with RSI Day and these apps and these tools that you were the primary person working on them. So I'm just going to go through a very brief introduction here on another one of the products that we are working on creating. It's called the Office Ergonomics e-course. Melissa and I have been working on creating it. I'm just going to do a little bit of introduction, and then Melissa is going to take you guys through a short demonstration on what we have so far and what it's going to look like. So Office Ergonomics, I use the word obviously, but it's maybe not obvious to everybody. It's much more important now than it ever was before. We rely much more on technology, obviously, than we have in the past. Computers are no longer limited to traditional office use. They're used in every facet of workplaces now, even those that operate manual equipment, those types of things. There's computers and everything. Almost all industries, workers, non-workers, depend on computers or some form of computers. The onset of the pandemic, 2020, has also further increased the use of computers in alternate settings such as workplaces, in vehicles, everywhere. Virtual meetings have essentially replaced in-person things. You're viewing a platform here that was created because of the requirement of virtual. That's why we have RSI Day now, and we have the 4 days in the month as opposed to the one big in-person event. So that's super important to remember. So what's the results? So what? Everybody knows what I just mentioned. So who cares? Well, it's resulted in a decrease in movement, and that decrease in movement has resulted in increased physical discomfort and injury. It's also decreased productivity, mental fatigue, and it's really increased the need of ergonomic intervention. People are recognizing much more now that ergonomic intervention is essential because of the fact that people sit longer, utilize technology much more and longer than they had in the past. So what are we doing about it? What is OCal trying to do regarding the need for more office ergonomic intervention? Well, in 2021, we updated our Office Ergonomic Handbook, we had called it. We renamed it. We called it the Office Ergonomic Reference Guide. It's in alignment with the CSA standard for office ergonomics. Trevor referenced it when he spoke about the Office Ergonomic Calculator as well. So that's the first step that OCal took in terms of addressing this. Is we updated this document that's available on our website in PDF version. You can download it. You can look at the website version. It addresses changes that have come about through COVID, things like remote workstations, changes just in time, where we need to be looking at multiple monitors now. We need to be looking at sit-stand workstations, the use of tablets and cell phones and those types of things. So it It's modernized. It's 2021 now. We're 2024. It's getting on a few years old now, but it's modernized based on the versions that we had before. So what else can we do? So we have that. You can go on our website. You can download the PDF version. You can look at the web version. Well, we decided to create an Office Ergonomics e-course. So basically, the course is due to launch at the end of the March. The content of it aligns directly with our Office Ergonomics Reference Guide. It's self-directed. It allows you to go through the course. You can choose to do it whenever you like to do it. So it gives you flexible hours. You can do it in various locations. It allows self-paced learning. It's all online. We do have knowledge checks at the end of the modules. So we broke it down from the 9 chapters. We have 9 chapters in the Office Ergonomics Reference Guide. We broke it into 7 modules for those. And at the end of each module, it has knowledge checks so that you can see where it is you are, whether you understood the material, or the knowledge checks are fairly small, but it gives you some reference as to whether you should go back and maybe review that material again. And it also provides a certificate upon completion as well. So now, so who's it for? Sorry. It's for everybody. Everybody that potentially utilizes a computer, which is in this day and age, almost everybody. Office workers, joint health and safety committees, health and safety professionals, employers, managers, those types of things. It won't take a long time to complete. So it's something that we're trying to recommend, that all employers recommend that their employees utilize it, so that you can see where you're at, and people can help themselves with their office ergonomics. So this is just a breakdown of the modules that are included in it. Intro to ergo, chairs, work surfaces, your monitors. Module 5 is a little bit longer. Spends a decent amount of time going through external equipment, your keyboard and keyboard trays and those types of things. And then technology, laptops, and remote workstation setups. And then additional considerations in the final module that basically goes through things such as lighting and noise and those types of things. Okay, now as I mentioned, there will be a knowledge check at the end of each module. There's some true and false question, multiple choice. It's not meant to be a test. It's meant to be something so that you can make sure that you have a full understanding of the information, so that you can take that information and help yourself set up your workstation to suit you. So now Melissa's going to take over speaking, and she's going to take you through a demonstration on where we are with the course right now, and show you the different aspects of what you can be looking forward to with this course. Go ahead, Melissa.
Okay, thanks, Dwayne. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Good morning, everyone. So as Dwayne said, this is kind of it's a working model right now. We still have some edits to do. And as Trevor introduced to the MyOCow platform that we're going to be using, this will be on there right now. This is just kind of a version that we have that we've been working through. So on the version, you'll have a table of contents that'll be on the side as well, but it allows you to bring down that table of contents so you can see the entire screen. And from the very beginning here, you would just start it by, pushing play, and it's going to give you, the welcome message. There's some notes to, take into account that the e-course on its own is not intended as training. Rather, we are sharing occupational health and safety knowledge in practical terms for individual consideration, workplace application, and injury and illness prevention. If you need at any time more technical expertise, it can be supplemented by further instruction and hands-on training specific to the job, work site, equipment, or by making an inquiry to OCOW. We're always there to answer questions at ergo@ocow.on.ca. So navigation, as you can see, as I'm navigating around it, is just going to be done through these different types of arrows. You can bring up your table of contents anytime you want and go back to a section. Right now, there are a few things that as we're kind of testing it and moving it through, we've noticed that, once you kind of get to your knowledge check, if you're like, oh, whoops, I wanted to go back and check the previous page, it doesn't allow you to go back once you're in that knowledge check. But if you bring back up your table of contents, you can go backwards through it. So there's just different things that we're obviously looking to make improvements and we'll bring to you for beta testing as well. But it's easy enough to navigate, and you bring down your menu tab at any point in time and then go forwards and backwards. Once you get to this main screen, this is when you would be starting the course and, hitting the button, get to start. And obviously, once this course is, housed in that My OCOW, it's going to look different. It's going to be all on one screen. You're not going to kind of have to scroll up or down like you see myself doing to view those arrows. The first part is going to bring you to these different modules. And so it's going to start with, again, like Dwayne mentioned, your introduction to ergonomics. And at the end of each module, there is going to be a knowledge check. It is going to be built in to allow you to, do one module, save, and maybe come back a different day and do it. You by no means need to do the entire Office e-course at one time. So again, here's an introduction to ergonomics. I can bring you through this one here. At the beginning of each of the modules, it's going to state what the purpose is of the module. For example, this one, it's going to introduce concepts of ergonomics, explain MSDs, describe how risk factors associated with Office can lead to MSDs, and by the end of it, you're going to be able to define ergonomics, explain musculoskeletal disorders, and identify those risk factors in an Office environment. And then you'll start going through it. It's going to go slide by slide, introducing you to different key concepts. And then, at the end of it, I'll bring you here to I'm not going to go through each thing. I'll bring you through a few different modules. You'll have module 1, you'll have, your knowledge check here. So just to kind of give you an idea of how a knowledge check would look is you'll start it, and each one has about, I'd say, 4 to 10 questions, depending which module. Module 5 houses kind of all the external equipment, so like your keyboards, mice, document supports, footrest. So this is a larger section, so I think there's about 10 questions. Right now, we are trying to work through, for some reason, it's giving us the total questions here, which is 31 in the entire e-course. Do not fear, it's not 31 questions on the introduction to ergonomics. So you just answer each one. So ergonomics can be defined as fitting the worker to the job, fitting the job to the worker, can help prevent injuries. So then you answer these questions. Either way, well, we'll do a few that it gets wrong. If it gets wrong, it's going to show up here that it's incorrect. And in order to advance, you'll put yes. We are, again, by next week, what's happening, if you get an answer wrong like that, it will allow you to go back and then select the right one. And like Dwayne said, this is not meant to be a test. It's just to, check your key concepts that you've learned through the module. So just to kind of go back, oh, I guess once you're in the knowledge check here, you can't bring up your table of contents. That's something new for me. So the 3 main ergonomic risk factors associated with working in the office. Static posture, vibration, force is D. Awkward posture, static posture, repetition. So again, select one, submit. Oh, got it correct. So again, you'll notice the banner at the top will be a different color. And again, when we put this through beta testing, we're looking for different feedback when it comes to anything you see. As the number of risk factors increase, so does the chances of injury. Of course it does. Submit. Ergonomic interventions are generally designed to reduce musculoskeletal disorders that are a result of cumulative exposure and occur over time. So they're chronic, not acute. Yes, I agree. I just saw Kelly's come up on the screen. So we are actually working with our developer that with ergonomics, there's always a human factors component to anything. And you'll notice that, let me see if the next one I can do. If when you get it wrong, when you get a question wrong, it's really difficult to see in the banner of the top. You kind of have red on red. And even when you get it right, the blue on red can seem bright. So we are working through changing the colors so that they can be seen, so that they're not so bright. Again, and that's all great information that when we send it out for beta testing, that we're hoping to get back from you as well. So we are looking at all of that. And again, so you can go through the different modules here. I'm going to bring through, well, look through chairs. So here is your chairs. Again, what the chair should do. Hopefully by the end of this module, this is what you're going to learn to do. You're going to be have learned. So each thing, it's going to go through chair, backrest, support. Now there is some components that are a little bit more interactive. You might need to click an image to give you some more information, and that would all be explained in there. So each aspect of a chair is explained in this module, and looking at different heights as well. And then, each module is kind of laid out exactly the same. I think someone had just mentioned about psychosocial risk factors. We do have additional, just trying to find here, scrolling along the bottom, considerations, but most of them are physical in nature. Psychosocial is definitely something that is mentioned, but not a lot of information, just basically what was mentioned in the Office Ergonomic Reference Guide. So this would be the module 7 with additional considerations. Again, what the learning goals are here. Looking through a different type of lighting in this section, as well as, different colors and finishes, blinds and treatment. Yeah, and you just kind of work through each of these modules, and then at the end, again, there will be that quiz. And then, as Dwayne mentioned, at the very end, there is that certificate, and I do believe there is an example of it here. So it'll give you quiz results too. So your quiz results out of the 31 questions, I only, answered so many. So it will give you that kind of result just for some feedback. And then your certificate of completion will be here as well. And there'll be an option to be able to print this in a nicer form than you see it here. But that's just kind of a low level introduction to what our e-course is going to look like. And as Dwayne mentioned, we're hoping it will be done by the end of March. We're in the editing stage right now, and it's exciting for us to be able to offer this to you guys. And I saw some comments and questions come up about it, but anything that OCal produces is free to use. Everything is going to be housed on that My OCal again when it comes to anything with tools. And we'll take any questions. I think, Trevor, were you responsible for the questions?
Yes, it was, Melissa.
I thought so.
There's
Thank you.
There's a couple here. One is, Are headphone listening devices covered in the modules?
Yes, they are.
Okay. Uh, and the other one is, how much time do you need to complete the entire course? If you sat down from start to finish, how long would it take to do?
Depends on how well you can read.
So we actually haven't, we haven't been able to sit down and to do the whole thing because we've just been editing, right? So I feel like that's something, hopefully once we're done editing, we'll take the time to do, to go through it. But I think the hopes are like, each section, I don't know. I guess it depends too how much time you need to go through it because it's not like each screen is timed, right? You can, if you, that concept, even when you maybe go to the knowledge check, if you were like, oh man, maybe I want to review that some more, you could go back and review it again. I think it really depends on the individual.
Okay. Another question was, what is the passing grade for the quizzes to be able to get the certificate?
So, what our hopes are with the knowledge check is that you won't be able to move to the next module until you've gotten them all correct. So, everybody's going to get perfect by the end of it, is what our hopes are. That's what we kind of, our feedback was, because we don't want you to answer the question incorrectly and then not know what the correct answer was. We want you to get the correct answer because then, you might, again, go back and you might need to refresh yourself on that concept if you didn't get it the first time. So really by the end, everyone should get all of the questions correct.
And we'll keep telling you which ones you got wrong and send you back to that section.
Yeah, so like in the moment there, when I had gotten the one wrong and it said, but it still allowed me to move forward. It's not going to allow you to move forward until that question is correct.
Okay.
Is the hopes.
I noticed there is a comment here about the option to export to a vendor to print and laminate. I mean, it does come out as a PDF file then that people can take and print and laminate and frame if they want. Now, how many modules is there on the e-course?
There's 7 modules altogether.
Okay.
And with some of the, sorry, Trevor, to interrupt.
No.
I just looked at some of the questions. Some of the questions regarding content of what's going to be on the course. If you go to our website, OCal's website, and look at our Office Ergonomics Reference Guide, basically the content that's located within the Office Ergonomics Reference Guide is the same content that you're going to find in the e-learning course.
Okay. Another question here, which is one that's a really strong point for me, is the options like exercise balls or kneeling chairs addressed in the modules?
Yes, they're all addressed. Again, like Dwayne said, literally everything that we talked about in the Office Ergonomic Reference Guide, which those are listed there as well, is spoke about in this course as well. So we list when it comes to any type of alternate keyboards, mice, sitting devices, we usually talk in terms of limitations and merits to them.
Excellent. Okay, and the other thing we really want to mention is people, again, to please complete the Slido survey that just popped up. And there was a lot of feedback regarding font size, color, etc. Again, a great opportunity for you to share your comments with signing up when we send off the email next week to be part of the actual beta testing. We can actually help us improve these tools before they go completely to market. And again, people to do the e-course will need to register with the MyOCal site when it's made next week as well. And because once they complete that module, it's going to be saved within their MyOCal. So if they do need to call up their certificate or review that they've completed it, the records are all going to be logged and kept there that they can be able to access their information. Dwayne and Melissa, thank you so much for showcasing the e-course.